Well, North Dakota is now home to refugees from Afghanistan and Ukraine. And overall, those refugees have been welcomed with open arms. Mark Martin shows us how the community of Fargo has embraced and supported those who have fled from their war-torn countries.
August 2021, the United States pulls remaining troops from Afghanistan, resulting in chaos, plus the deaths of 13 American service members and around 170 Afghan civilians. It also strands U.S. allies in a hostile country ruled by the Taliban. CBN News met one of those allies living as a refugee in Fargo, North Dakota. For safety, Abdul wants to remain anonymous. Serving as an interpreter for the U.S. military, his first attempts to evacuate Kabul came up short.
I came back home, so the family told me just stay home, don't go outside, because the neighbors and the people in the area, they know where you've been working and who you've been working. We don't feel about yourself, like about your life and your security.
Eventually, the U.S. military found a flight for him at another airport. Staying in Afghanistan could have cost him his life.
We're hearing every day like the Taliban or the people who running the government right now, they killing the Afghan forces whenever they find about them, like especially the commandos and Afghan special forces. They could do same thing with me or even with my family.
His family, unfortunately, did not make it out.
Actually, yeah, it was too hard for me. Even I couldn't say them goodbye or give them a hug. So it was pretty hard for me to leave those people who I loved them or they loved me, like my family.
After spending a few weeks in the Middle East, Abdul ended up in the U.S., where he says North Dakota offered the best opportunity.
It was super amazing for me. When I came to the airport here, that was the winter time. Everywhere was snow. Those people from the community, they are very good people. They told me like a best welcome to North Dakota, Fargo.
The Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service helped make it possible.
I remember the first Afghan family that arrived in 2021. A husband who had already been here for a period of time welcomed his family, I believe, of 5. And when he and his wife embraced, after having been separated for a significant amount of time, it brought tears to my eyes and my colleagues' eyes. In fact, one of my staffers turned to me and nudged me and said, "This is why we do this work."
Hanaher helped form the North Dakota office of Lutheran Immigration and Refugee Service in March of 2021. Since that time, they've helped around 500 refugees. While Hanaher has seen some resistance, he adds overall the community is very welcoming.
I'm very grateful for the outpouring of support and love from our community. There are always detractors. There are those who fear the unknown or simply have a different thought process around how they feel about these issues.
Other refugees now calling North Dakota their home escaped Russia's war on Ukraine. Sergei Listratenko, his wife Natalia, and their daughter Kira lived in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv.
We saw burning tanks, burning cars. A lot of people died, but a lot of people, our military forces evacuated a lot of people.
The family evacuated to western Ukraine, and after 6 months, they decided Natalia and Kira should head to the U.S. Sergei stayed behind to help in the war effort. At one point, he feared never seeing his wife and daughter again.
When I moved back to Kharkiv, almost every day Russians launched rockets. It continues every day for a half a year while I was in Kharkiv. Sure, I thought that I could never see them.
7 months passed, and Sergei decided to join his family in the U.S. A friend recommended Fargo, and they settled here, preferring the colder climate, much like Ukraine. Although he was overjoyed to see them again, leaving his homeland was bittersweet.
You need to understand that I left my parents, my mom, my dad, brother and my nephews, and they're still in Ukraine.
Government statistics show more than 400,000 Ukrainian refugees, along with approximately 100,000 from Afghanistan, have come to the United States since those major events in their countries. Both Abdul and Sergey request prayer for the many more left behind.
I want to ask for the people to pray for the people of Afghanistan. Also, I wanted the international community to force on the Taliban to reopen the schools and university and let the girls and the female to go to and continue their education.
They shouldn't pray for us because we are in safe place. So they should pray about our brave warriors that defending protecting our land.
And that safe place for these refugees now is North Dakota. Mark Martin, CBN News, Fargo.
There's a wonderful story of Christians that are saying, we want to obey the words of Jesus. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. When you have that kind of heart of hospitality, you walk into some of the greatest ministry you can possibly do. So here are people living in war zones, living in fear of their life, and we're saying, yes, we've got a place for you. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. It's wonderful to see it.